Hi everyone. We are going to be going over the email app on the iPad. So if you're familiar with email, it has a lot of obviously the same features as any email, but it is a particular setup. It's a unique app to the iPad. So again, if you're familiar with the Gmail app or with other mail services, it's going to be a bit different. Some of the language is different, so we're just going to go over that a bit. Say you're a Gmail user and you like the Gmail interface and you've used it before, you can always download other email apps. You don't have to use the Apple Mail app. It's there and you can connect any email to it. But if you wanted to use the Gmail app, or maybe you're an Outlook.com email person, you can use the Outlook app. It's whatever you want to use. But for now, we'll go through this. So on the iPad, when we open up our email here, we'll see that our email is split up into two sides. So we have the left side of the screen and the right side of the screen. Now the left side of the screen is the list of all of our emails, and the right side of our screen is the email. So if I clicked on an email, it would open up the contents of the email on the right side. Now, when we are looking at this, if we're holding the iPad on the long edge, this is the view we get, but the view will change depending on how we're holding it. So if we don't have the screen lock on and I switch it to this side, so we're on the short edge of the iPad, it appears a bit differently and we'll be in an email, and if we want to go back to see the list, we'll have to click on this little arrow that's in the top left corner to bring us back to the inbox list. So depending on how you're holding the iPad, you'll get a different orientation and viewing experience of your email. This is, in my opinion, the easier way to look at it. It's easier to navigate, but it's up to you in personal preference. It will just switch the view depending on the way you're holding it. So yeah, if we want to look at our emails, we can obviously always just scroll through with our finger. We click on an email and it opens up on the right side, the contents of the email. But say you're like me and you have a lot of junk mail or unread mail, you have like 400 there, and you're looking for an email but you can't seem to find it, you can always use this search feature. So you'll see that there's a search feature at the top of your inbox right here. That's a search bar, and you can use it to search through your inbox. You can search for specific keywords. You can also search for like unread messages. You can filter out messages you've already opened for messages you haven't opened. You can search for things like messages with attachments. So there's some suggestions here. Let's say I'm looking for something in specific. Say I'm looking for emails about cyber seniors. I can search that. And when I click search, it will narrow down my email to all of the emails I have that are from a cyber seniors email that mention cyber seniors in them and stuff like that. And we can add different things to this. So say we wanted cyber seniors, but we also wanted to add multiple search criteria. You could add a comma, and then you can continue to add different details. So I can add different details, and I can narrow down my search by adding things. Just adding a comma between search terms allows me to use multiple search terms to narrow down the emails I'm going to get. And that's a great way to find emails if they've maybe gone buried or gone back a long time. You can also search for specific emails. So say I'm looking for a specific email address. When I click start typing and say a name, if we go down, you'll see that I can also search for within people. I can search within subjects. Say I just want to search within a person, so my own email. I can see all of my emails here, right? So you can use that search feature. Now say you wanted to delete emails on here. This is again a bit different than you might experience on a different mail app. So you have two options on how to delete. Say I open an email. So if I open an email and I just want to delete this individual email, I can click this folder button up here in the top kind of right corner here. I can click that, And if I want to send this to my trash, I'll just then select from this list, and I can really use this to move this email anywhere. I can move this email to junk. I could move it to the trash. I can move it to a specific folder. So it's all kind of one button there. There's not a specific trashing email for some reason on Apple Mail. You just have to move it to your trash folder. So I could move it there. Or if I wanted to delete multiple emails at once, say I had a bunch of junk mail, like I seem to have, you can click this edit button and it will make these little check boxes appear, and I can start to select emails by clicking these check boxes. And then I can again click move. This is the equivalent of that folder button I was mentioning. And then again, I can move them all to the trash and they all get deleted. Again, I don't know why they don't feature just a singular trash button. It would probably make a lot of sense, so they just don't. But again, we'll use that folder button, or if we select multiple, then move button, and we can select anywhere. We can even put it into folders if we have created folders in our inbox. So if I wanted to move it to one of these, I just created random ones here, I can. From here, we can also use this. This is like a filing box button. And this is a button to be kind of careful of. It does an action called archiving. So when you archive an email, it's similar to deleting it. It removes it from your inbox list, but it doesn't delete the email. It just moves it into an unseen folder. And the only way that you can then see that email is to go into your all mail inbox. And it doesn't delete it. It keeps it saved. It just removes it from the list. So when you click this, I don't really know if it's useful. Maybe you want to hide an email for some reason, but you don't want to delete it. That's what you could use it for. But basically, when you use it, archive it. So I archive that one. I go back here, and then in order to find it, I'll have to go into my all mail folder, and it should pop up in my all mail folder from here. So this shows all of your mail. But yeah, that's what that button does. And then, of course, if you wanted to write a new email, you have to use this little thing. It's like a little pen, and then it's supposed to be a pad of paper. That allows you to compose a new email. You'll open up a new message. And of course, when you are writing an email, you can send it to as many people as you want. You can include multiple emails on a chain. Right? I can keep adding people to this, as many as I want. And you can add everyone to a to field. If you press that plus button though there, you can also add people from your contacts. So you can just straight up select people from a list who you have emails for. And you can also include a CC or BCC. So if you're not familiar, CC and BCC are different fields that can be used. So you just tap there to send an email to someone. So CC is a carbon copy, so it just means that you're copying someone on an email. So generally when we use CC, we'll put the person who the email is directed at in the to field. But say you just wanted to include someone else on the email so that they were aware that it was being sent, and they were copied on the email, and they could see the contents and understand what was going on. You could put them in the CC field. So say I'm sending this email to Kasha here, but I also want myself and Brenda to be copied on it just so they're aware of the communication. I would put them in the CC field. It's just more of a signal of what that means. And then there's the BCC field, which is a blind copy. And what that means is I could put someone in the blind copy field. And what it means is that if I put them there, Kasha would get the email, and she would see it, and she would see it as only being sent to her. So Brenda is invisible on the email thread. Other people on the email cannot see that she's on it. But Brenda would be able to see that she was BCC'd and that Kasha was on the email, because Kasha is in the to field, which is an openly visible email recipient field. So an example you would use this for is if you just wanted to send an email to someone, and again, you wanted to make someone aware of the communication, but you didn't want the other person to know. Or another way you could use this is, say you're sending a mass email, so an email to a bunch of people, and you don't want their emails to be shared with each other, rather for a privacy reason, or you just want to look like it's a singular email, that's when you would use the BCC field. So if I put both Kasha and Brenda in the BCC field, they would both get the email, and it would appear as though they were the only person receiving it, though in fact they'd both be receiving it. Now, an example of how I use this is when we send out like reminders for sessions. If you've received the emails from Annie, it looks like it's just going to you, but it's in fact going to everyone on our email list. We just put everyone in the BCC field so they can't see each other's emails to protect everyone's privacy. So that's where you would use those different recipient fields if you needed to. The next thing you'd always obviously do is fill in your subject. You want to always keep your subject short because there's a limited space to which it can fill up. So say we're here, you can see, especially on an iPad, you can only get about 5 words in before you get the ... and the email subject gets cut off. So do be aware of that when you're writing an email. You don't want to write a subject that's too long because it may get cut off and then the person doesn't know what the email's about. So always important to make a short subject. And then, of course, you just tap down here to start writing your email. You can write in whatever you want. Now, a great thing about the iPad is that they make it really easy to add attachments. So if you're looking at my keyboard here, once we're in the field where we're filling out our email, say you wanted to add an attachment, whether it be a picture or a file, you can do that by clicking right here. So if you want to add a photo, you can use this camera button, and it allows you to go to your photo library to select a photo you've already taken, or you can take a photo on the spot. So you can attach a photo by going to your photo library. I'm going to click take a photo because I don't want to go to my photo library, but I could take a photo. We'll use this photo, and this photo is now attached to my email, and I can send it off with that. I'm going to delete it. If you wanted to attach a file, however, you use this one. It's a little document with a folded over corner. You click that, and you can then add a document. And another great feature is that you can scan a document. I write my email, and I'm ready to send it. Obviously, I put in all my information. There's not like a regular send button here, just this arrow button. That's the send button on the Apple Mail. It's that arrow right there. But if also you want to cancel the email, you don't want to send it anymore, you can click cancel. You can click elsewhere. You can click anywhere else on the screen to kind of exit out of that email. But if we click cancel, we can also just delete it. Now, sometimes you'll see down here, you can see checking in. These are emails that I may have minimized that I have open. You can always cancel out of these. So every once in a while, you may see a bunch of emails, drafted emails. I was just drafting a bunch of stuff down there, and close those out. Another thing to be aware of is when you are on email, if you want to respond to an email, the reply button is down here in the bottom right corner. We just click on it to reply. There's also a lot more options here on Apple Mail. Again, usually that arrow button just indicates, hey, reply to this email. For some reason, they use it as like a pop-up menu. I don't think it's like the best design, but they use it as a pop-up menu, so you can use this button when you click it at the bottom to reply to the email, to reply all, to forward, or to archive it. It also brings up the flagging button, the mark as unread button, the move message button. You can trash it from here, in fact, or move it to junk, so that's another way to delete the email if you want. It's weird that they put it under this section. They also put print under this section as well. But that button that normally would indicate just, oh, I'm just replying, has all of these different hidden buttons within it. But just so you're aware, when you're replying to an email, there's a reply button and there's a reply all button. If you're included on an email and there's multiple recipients of that email, there's other people included on the email chain or thread, if you click reply, you will only be replying to the sender. So your email in return will only go to the person who sent it. If you click reply all, it will include everyone who was included on that initial message out. So it's important to know that in case you're replying to a group message and you wanted to reply privately or you wanted to reply to everyone, you just want to be aware of which one you're clicking to make sure that you're sending it to the appropriate person or people. And then there's also the forward button, and that of course lets you forward the email along to someone else so they can see it. And when you forward an email, the person who sent it to you will not see that you forwarded the email. So say you wanted to forward along to someone else, you didn't want the other person to know, that's okay. When you click forward, you'll have to enter all the to information in. If you wanted to then also include the original sender in it, you would have to manually enter their email into the to field with it. It won't automatically include them. So if you wanted to rope someone into an email, you'd have to include that person. So you want to add someone to an email thread, you would have to put both emails in manually there. Now this is just our main inbox, right? So it's just where we get our mail in. If we want to go see our, say, our trash folder or our junk folder or that all mail folder I was talking about, there's a button in the top left corner here, and it sometimes says mailboxes. It should say mailboxes. Sometimes the wording is slightly different. It might say Gmail or something. In order to go back to see all those areas, we have to click that button right there. This will show us our different areas of our email. So if we have multiple emails logged in on this mail server, which you can have, it will allow us to toggle between those two emails. We can see all of the inboxes, or we can see one or the other. As you can see on mine, I have 2 emails on here. It also allows us to go to different areas. So we can go to our inbox, we can go to our draft folder, which is any message that we started writing but never sent. We can go to our sent folder, so this is every email we have sent out. So if we sent an email, we never got a reply, and we wanted to make sure we sent it, or we wanted to follow up on an email, we can go to our sent folder. We can go to our junk folder. This is where all of the spam mail that we get goes. So you may be more familiar with the spam folder on the Apple Mail. It's called the junk folder. Different mailboxes call it different things. You can go to the trash folder. This is all your deleted mail. So when you delete an email, it goes to the trash folder first. It stays there for 30 days, and after 30 days, it will permanently delete, but it doesn't permanently delete right away. If you wanted to permanently delete something, you'd have to go then trash it, then go to the trash folder, and then delete it out of the trash folder, and that would permanently delete the email. Otherwise, it holds it for 30 days, just in case you changed your mind and want to undelete it, and then it will delete after 30 days. And then lastly, we have our all mail folder. And as I said, our all mail folder, it's self-explanatory. It's all of our mail. So this shows any mail that's in our inbox, any mail that's in our sent folder, anything that's in our drafts, anything that's in our junk folder, and anything that's in our deleted folder. So it shows every single one. It's just an uncategorized, unorganized list of emails that we have. So it's everything in our inbox in it. So again, if we're ever looking for an email, say we've lost it, we don't know if we put it in our junk or we deleted it or what happened to it or archived it. If you ever lose an email, which happens all the time, you accidentally click something and then it's gone, you don't know where it went, go to your all mail folder, and that's where you should be able to find it, and you can search through your all mail folder to go look for it. It happens all the time, and if you don't know that you have an all mail folder, it's really helpful there. But yeah, that's the basics here. The other thing you can do in here is you can add additional folders. So we have our traditional email folders, as I said, the ones we just went through. But if you wanted to create a category so you could organize mail, when you're in this mailbox area, you can click this edit button. And when you're in here, you can click this button down here. It says new mailbox. And this allows you to name a folder. So I can say, call it whatever it may be, create the name of it. Then I'm going to select a mailbox location by selecting mailbox. We'll choose a category to put it under. Say I just want to put it under this email, just generally that email. I can put it under there. I'll click save. And then once that's saved, I can click done up here. And we should see if I scroll down. Oh, here it is. This is the one I just created. So there's no mail in it, and say I wanted to move something into it. Let me go to my mailbox here. Actually, we'll select this one. I'll click on the folder there. It will pull up my list of emails. I can select the folder, and I've now moved that email into here. So there it appears there now. And if I wanted to move it back, my inbox, just click that button again, click inbox, and it moves it over there. So if you do want to organize your email and move things into folders, you can. I do this mostly just to keep track of like receipts that I might receive through my email. But you can leave it as is. You don't need to use folders. But if you're someone who likes to keep things really neat and organized, it's a good way to do it by creating those individual